Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about the Duggar family. You guys may be familiar with the Sojo Files. This is a podcast channel. They often cover true crime. They covered Josh Duggar's trial. If there's any updates in the trial, they cover that. Well, this morning they put out a podcast, and I'm going to read you guys the information on this particular episode. It's called The Super Source with Jen Rochelle, Part 1, Introduction to Jen. This episode is the first of many in a series of interviews with Duggar super sources. On this episode, you will be introduced to our very special guest, Jen. Jen grew up in Northwest Arkansas and somehow ended up in the Fundy world. She lived her preteen and teen years side by side with the Duggar family. She got out of the Fundy world as a young adult and wants to share her story to help others have the courage to speak out as well. Jen and I became fast friends, and she decided that she would share her story with us. I can't thank her enough for having the courage to share her story with all of us, and I hope it will encourage other people to share their stories as well. On this episode, you will get an introduction to Jen and the amazing human she is, while also learning about how she met the Duggars and how that aspect of her life played into the years that followed. Jen has firsthand knowledge of the Duggars, the Fundy world, IBLP, and most importantly, life after leaving. Jen also just wrote her first book about her life experiences, Finding Jen, which will be coming out soon. So really quick note on that, so you guys know I have members, and I recently started reading books for my members. I'm doing the Amber Portwood book right now, so this may be something that I'm interested in. I may actually order this book and cover that for my members. So really quick, let's get into it. I think this is super interesting. They are starting a segment. The Sojo Files is starting a segment where if you have real life experiences, if you knew the Duggars in the IBLP, you can come on her podcast and you can talk about your experience. I think that's also that she is giving her platform to people to share their story. I saw a TikTok earlier where there was a lady saying like, we need to encourage this, and I agree. We need to encourage anyone that has a story to come forward with their story concerning the Duggars, concerning the IBLP. I think that's very important. So I'm going to go over kind of like a quick recap of what happened. I'm also going to link the actual podcast in the description box below so you guys can go listen to it in its entirety. It's about 36 minutes long. So Jen, this is called The Super Source, and she was the babysitter. Now, the reason why I think this is really interesting, for one, she spent a lot of her teenage years living with the Duggars, basically. She traveled with them. She went everywhere with them. She even had her own little room at the Duggars' house, she said. She would just go in there, shut the door, she had a bed, and she did not know anything was going on. While it was different, there was a lot of kids there. She had no idea that Josh was molesting his sisters. Another thing that I thought was really important to note is that it's always been stated that Josh has 5 victims, that being, 4 of his sisters, and then the babysitter. Well, this is the babysitter, you guys. And in this interview, she actually talks about how that was kind of like a narrative that was put out there by the Duggar family. And from what she knows of the 5th victim, she was not a babysitter. She was just one of the other kids running around, hanging out with the Duggars. But it wasn't her. It was not the babysitter. Now, to protect the 5th victim and her identity, she did not go into too many details about the 5th victim, other than just stating that she was not the 5th victim and that the 5th victim was actually just another one of the kids that was there. It was not babysitter. I don't even believe the 5th victim was older, like they tried to imply, like old enough to babysit. I don't even believe she was at the age where she could have babysat. Anyways, I'm going to give a quick rundown. Jen said that her parents divorced when she was 8 years old. Her mom went on to remarry, had a job, and her mom kind of felt guilty about the fact that she had to work a lot. So she took the kids out of public school and started homeschooling them so she could spend more time with them. Jen said that this led to field trips where there would be other homeschooled kids. She ended up becoming really good friends with one of the girls that she met, who was also being homeschooled. This girl, her parents were part of the IBLP, as well as the girl. The girl and her family, they were part of the IBLP. So it was later on where this girl and her mother introduced Jen and her family to the Duggars. They all became fast friends. She said at first it was really fun. There was a lot of hanging out. She said her mom and Michelle Duggar were pregnant at the same time. She said there was a kid there for everyone, like her and her siblings. They had a friend at the Duggars or at church, because there were literally kids of all ages there. So she says it was a lot of fun when she first met the Duggars. It was not a terrible experience. She says as she got older, though, they were getting more involved with the IBLP. Her mom started implementing more rules into their lives. They had to start dressing the part of like a member of the church, the way the Duggar girls dress with the dresses and everything. She says she remembers one incident where Josh Duggar told her that he did not like mascara because the Duggar bunch that were told that mascara was bad, which we know that they are led to believe that you should not wear makeup. So she also talks about how she started dressing like the Duggars because they were always around them. They were starting to become a part of the church and everything. She says she kind of felt like a chameleon. When she was around her IBLP people, she was wearing the dresses, dressing the part, acting the part. And then when she was around her friends, her regular friends, she was dressing normal, acting the part. And then when she was around her family, she was, her. I guess maybe the most authentic her that she could be, like more the real her versus the Jen that was a part of the IBLP or the Jen when she was with her friends. She then started talking about how she babysit. She says she babysat all the time. She says she was not victimized. She never saw anything that was weird or seemed out of place, other than, it was chaotic. There was a lot of kids. There was a lot of stuff going on all the time. She said there was nothing that would have led her to believe that something bad was going on or anybody was in danger or anything like that. Jen said, once again, she said that narrative of it being a babysitter, his fifth victim, was not accurate. She says she traveled with the Duggars as well. So when Jim Bob was running for political office and they were going off on these campaign runs, she said she would go with them. She said it was later on when she was an adult, about 18 or 19 years old, when the church found out and there was whisperings going on within the church of what was going on with Josh Duggar and his sisters. That's when she found out. She says it was really well hidden, like even after like people in the church found out, like it was well hidden until, the media outlet caught wind of it. She says she's written a book to talk about her experiences. And like I said, I think I'm going to get the book. So if you guys are interested in reading the book, let me know. We're having like a book night. Let me know in the comment section below. So she says she remembers when the girls went on the Megyn Kelly show, when Jim Bob and Michelle and Jessa and Jill went on the Megyn Kelly show. She said she watched it. She said she was so close to these girls because she babysat them all the time. She was around them all the time that she was like an aunt to them. That when she watched the girls on the Megyn Kelly interview, that she cried and she told her mom that something just wasn't right, that she felt like it was more to it than what they were getting. Now, her mom and her stepdad, they were still a part of the IBLP. At this point, she had kind of drifted away from it, but her mom and stepdad, they were still a part of it. She said throughout time, she continued telling her mom that she didn't feel like things were quite right within the IBLP. Her mother eventually left. Her mother and her stepdad eventually left. And she said the great thing about that, though, is that, she has her family. She has a great relationship with her family. She's super close to her family. So in the case of like the Duggars, when Jill grew up and she strayed away from the IBLP, she was kind of shunned a little bit. She does not have a close relationship with Jim Bob and Michelle because of the fact that she does not continue to believe in their belief system. She's not so extreme in the way that they are. Her and Derek, they have kind of done their own thing. And any of their kids that have kind of strayed away, even a little bit, they've kind of become a little bit estranged from them. So she points out the fact that, she has her family. They're very close. They were able to leave the IBLP without losing any family members, which is awesome. And the fact that that's kind of how it works, it's like Scientology. If you are part of the IBLP, you raise your children in it, and then they decide they don't want to be in that church. It's almost like you lose your relationship with them. That's kind of the way that it is. She talks about her decision to come forward, and she says that she wanted to come forward with her experience with the Duggars and the IBLP in hopes that anyone else that has an experience with the Duggars or the IBLP, they will come forward as well. And I think that's awesome. I think anyone that has any type of experience with the IBLP, anyone that has an experience with the Duggars, I remember not too long ago, there was someone on Reddit who was claiming it to be, you know, the security guard. I would love for that security guard to, you know, maybe do this podcast or maybe come on my channel and just answer questions and talk about their experience. I think as many people as possible to get the word out about the truth of the Duggars, the truth about the IBLP, I think is very important. And like I saw on that TikTok earlier today, we need to encourage that. So I'm glad that Jen is coming forward to tell her story. While she didn't dive too much into, you know, the Duggars outside of saying, you know, she was the babysitter and the fifth victim was not the babysitter, and her just saying, while it was chaotic and there was a lot of kids, there was nothing that she called back then at that age that was wrong. She had no idea. Like she said, it was very well hidden. But I'm grateful that she's coming forward to talk about her experience with the IBLP as well. So you guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. She's going to be on for a part 2. So if you guys do not follow the Sojo Files, I'm going to link it in the description box below. Go follow them. I don't know for sure how the upload is. It seems like there's not a set schedule on the upload. So when part 2 comes out, I will do a recap on it. So you guys be on the lookout for that. Or just go follow the Sojo Files. You guys can listen to it yourself. This part 1 of Introduction to Jen is about 36 minutes long. It's not too long. Go take a listen. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think? I'm actually not surprised to find out that the fifth victim is not the babysitter. I think they said the babysitter because they wanted us to believe that it was someone that was older. But I'm thinking that it was probably someone a lot younger. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you give this video a huge thumbs up. And like I said, when part 2 comes out, I will be doing a recap of it as well. Leave me your thoughts, thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.